fucking ghost here? Look! What is that? What is that? I'm pretty sure that's their television! Oh man, I am really scared! Whoa, 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 whoa! What is this? What is this? There's a wetness coming from my pants! I see it! What is it? Oh god, I'm so scared! I'm so scared!
Welcome back to You're the Problem. If you're joining us again, thank you so much for coming back. If you're new to this, my name's Carol. I'm hanging out here with my brother-in-law.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Steve. Sean, how are you, sir?
Hey, had to unmute myself this time. I'm doing good, guys. We're just hanging out on what is this, a Wednesday?
I think
Yeah,
so.
Wednesday night. Thanks for all your help. Shout out to all your efforts.
So if you're back today,
that
what are we
clip-
talking about? We're talking about
That clip was
paranormal,
so funny.
ghosts.
Let's talk about some paranormal let's get into some creepy stuff. So I have to warn everybody.
I could watch that South Park clip 25 more times in a row. It's just,
Yeah,
it takes me to such a happy place.
A disclaimer, if you're listening, this might get so frightening you also your pants. So hold on. But yeah, I feel like I got haunted by something that happened to me this week that I
Did you
wanted
get
to
on by a
about.
ghost?
No, I'm really more haunted by like the memory of what just happened to me. So a little bit of backstory. I am home with my kids. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old. It's August, so I'm almost to the finish line. They're almost going to go back to school, but they're driving me batshit crazy. And I was like, you know what? I need some retail therapy. I need to get out of here for a little bit. So I go to TJ Maxx because who doesn't love a deal? And I'm walking in, and there's this elderly, can't even call him a gentleman at this point. There's an elderly man walking in front of me, and he did one of those things that's like one of my biggest, probably top 5 pet peeves. He takes 2 steps into the store and he just stops. And then he starts looking around almost in like a panic. And I'm like, why do people do this? Like, it's like he got picked up off the street and dropped into TJ Maxx and he's confused about where his whereabouts. And I'm like, so he's just stopped. He's just standing there, like looking around. And I'm like, I'm in a bitchy mood. It all happened, and I'm like, oh, I got like kind of a stick up my ass. So I'm like, I said, excuse me. And I like shuffle past him. I'm all like pissy. And I'm like looking at stuff and looking at clothes and stuff like that. And he shuffles on past me, and I know he timed this perfectly. He gets like 1 step ahead of me, and he lets this 8-second bomb just rip. Like, he for 8 seconds let out this fart that I was like, oh, and just when you thought it was like over, it kept going. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and he just kept on going the whole time. And I was like, he probably needed to go into the pants section after that, because I'm sure he blew it out, like, because his pants had a hole in it for sure. Like,
So his fart was so bad it was like haunting you. That's where you're going with this?
His fart was so bad it's been haunting me all week. I will say though, after he did it, I hope to God in his head that he was thinking like, excuse this and just like let me have it.
It was like
because
a
I did
low hanging, like a sticky cloud,
Yeah.
just like a
Oh yeah,
slimer.
I was just in
So
his fart cloud for a while after that. But I mean, it was
terrible.
funny. I laughed. How can you not? But he
I think
got
it's
me
your
good.
fault.
And
I'm
I mean,
blaming
I
you
did kind
for
of
that.
deserve it, I guess. Yeah, a
You
little
of all
bit.
people,
But yeah,
women
it's been haunting.
especially, you grew up and watched Beauty and the Beast, and you saw when the little old woman went to the castle and she was just looking for
Yeah.
shelter, and the Beast was the handsome prince, and he was like, no, you old bitch, get out of here. You can't come in my fucking castle. And what happened? She fucking cursed him, and he turned into some fucking hairy dude. This is your karma. You're the Beast in this scenario. That old man was probably like, as a test, and because you failed, he kind of shit on you.
He did. He literally did. I'm sure his fart particles were like in and around my whole aura. And I was like, so I've been haunted by that this whole week. I'm like, I can't believe that man ripped. It was a good one. I mean, I've never been crop dusted that intense in my whole life.
It's
So
like
it was
assault.
an
He like
experience,
assaulted
but he assaulted me with his ass. Like, holy shit.
you. Holy right.
So yeah, holy shit. His ass ghost was with me that day.
Well,
So
that's
if
good.
you
I'm
want to talk
glad you got
about
what you deserved.
paranormal,
Yeah, my
dude.
my paranormal is paranormal, not abnormal. But nobody shit on me. Not yet, anyway. I mean, it could happen, but
It could happen.
usually white women like you will have all kinds of ghost stories that are more legit. Like every time a cardinal flies
Yeah.
in your backyard, oh, Pop-Up came to visit. And every time
It's
you
my
find a feather in
grandmother.
the driveway, you think it's a sign from heaven. And just
Yeah,
so
well, it
I
is.
thought you were going to have a more ghostly story, but
Well, just because that was like the most recent haunting I've had, I just wanted to share that with you. But no, if you're talking about like real paranormal shit, like that, there are some things. You know what, though? I feel like this is just me. I could be completely off base, but from my informal surveys, I feel like women have more experience with like ghosts and have more ghost stories, and then men more tend to be like, oh, I saw a UFO or an alien visited me, whatever. So I don't know if there's like a connection to that, but I've
I feel
definitely seen
attacked.
more paranormal activity on the ghost side. I've never seen a UFO, an alien. So I don't know. What do you think of that?
I mean, I've had ghostly things, I guess, occur around me. More recently, my 4-year-old was getting a ride to school or going to Target or he was going, and he starts talking
TJ
about his
Maxx?
friend. He has this friend in his bedroom. No, they weren't going to TJ Maxx. There's no, it's not where they were going. But he starts talking about this friend that he has, and my wife, she's like, who's your friend? What are you talking about? And he's like, my Michael, my Mike, my. And she's like, who? What? He's like, and eventually he said, Michael. She's like, Michael. And like, there's nobody in our immediate circle with that name
Yeah.
that he deals with like on a regular basis. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're like, where's Michael? He's like, he's in my bedroom. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. Is he your
That's
friend?
creepy.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
He's my friend. So she comes home and she tells me, she's
Creepy.
like, so your son has an imaginary friend named Michael who lives under his bed in his bedroom. I was like, oh, well, I guess he's that age. Okay. That's when that happens.
Under his bed. Ooh.
Right. So I'm talking to him and I'm like, who's your friend upstairs? And he's Michael. And now he's like definitive. His name's Michael.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, what does he look like? He's Michael. He's just Michael. I was like, well, what color hair does he have? Black. So, okay. Does he have a beard like me? Is he old? Is he young? He has a beard.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And what does he do? Like, you guys play? He said, he touches all my boo-boos. And he's really nice. I'm like, okay. It's an imaginary friend who sounds like an adult man who touches your boo-boos. And so now I'm just, I'm becoming a white woman, and I'm like, I have an uncle now. I have an uncle named Michael who has been passed on for years and years and years.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, he had black hair, he had a beard, his name was Michael.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, he has no clue who this person is. He's never met
Michael.
Never saw a picture. No, I was a teenager when he passed away.
Okay.
So I'm like, now I'm just a curious white woman. So I start asking more questions. And I'm like, I go on my phone and I find some pictures, and I do like a lineup of stuff. I don't just give him a picture and say, who's this? I have like some flowers, a picture of me, a picture of some random guy he's never met, a puppy, and then I slip in a picture of my uncle. And then later in the lineup, there's a picture of my uncle when he's very young, which is a completely different looking version of him, right? So I'm going through the pictures and I'm like, what are these pictures? And he's like, flower. Okay. Daddy, some guy. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I go to the picture of my dead uncle, and he lights up like a Christmas tree, and he goes, Michael. And I'm like, whoa, baby. Like, that's fucking bizarre.
That's creepy. See, how can you deny that? Like that's like wild.
It gets better. The days, like the couple of days where he had mentioned that, and then I talked to him about it, was like
Yeah.
within days of my uncle's actual birthday.
Oh, wow.
So by
Oh my
coincidence,
God.
this imaginary friend named Michael that he police sketch artist picked out of the lineup and said, that's Michael, and it was actually him,
Yeah.
was within a day or two of his actual birthday, Michael's birthday.
Holy crap.
So like, is he doing his
Goosies. I got
rounds? Is he
goosies.
coming checking in on
Yeah.
people? And he's checking in on the
Right.
kid, and he's playing with the kid, and the kid can see him because, I don't know, little kid, and they're perceptive to stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a little wild. And like,
That's wild.
I'm cool with
Yeah.
it, but
That's for sure
there's
wild.
white women in my family who were like, oh my God,
It's definitely him.
he was doing his rounds on his birthday. Why didn't he come and see
Aw.
me? And I'm like, all right, calm down. But like,
Yeah.
that's some bizarre shit. And I can't quantify how he would have described him with no picture, picked him out of a lineup.
No,
And
that
then I
doesn't
showed him the
make sense.
younger version of Michael in the
Yeah.
lineup later, which looks like a completely
Yeah.
different person. And he called that one out too.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's Michael.
That's wild. Yeah. I
So-
think, and I'm sure there's like research on this, but I feel like children are naturally, for some reason, like more receptive to seeing people maybe that have passed on, or I don't know what you want to call it, spirits. I just feel like kids, for some reason, they don't have that guard up yet or something. And yeah, like they see you. You hear stories all the time of people, like kids, like looking at something in the corner, and the mom's like, "What are you looking at?" It's like, "Oh, it's Joey." It's like, what? So yeah, it's just wild. Like they're tapping into something that I guess eventually most of us turn off. Or
I think so.
I don't know. It's just
there's
wild.
something
Yeah.
happening. My niece had a
For
thing
sure.
like that where when she was an infant, she was like screaming and like crying and like staring up at the corner in this bedroom in a basement. Like it's a basement bedroom where they stayed at the time. And she's like really upset, like focused on this corner. And my sister's dog, I guess, caught wind of whatever was happening, and it was focused, like lasered up on the corner and barking its ass off, snarling, like trying to protect the baby from whatever's up in the corner of the ceiling, like up high. And it was like freaking out. All the adults are like, what the what is going on?
Yeah.
So
That's
maybe
crazy.
babies can see something.
I mean, stuff happens. Yeah, I do. I really think that. I mean, I've like had, I don't know, I guess you could call run-ins, and I also
Is this about the guy that shit himself
in
in TJ Maxx run-ins and oh, you didn't mean it like that?
That's
Okay.
that's a
I know if you're
different
just gonna
kind
keep
of
abusing
haunting.
the same story over and over again.
No, that's a different kind of haunting, and I'm sure he reached every dimension with that fart, though, for sure. But no, I get the heebie-jeebies even like talking about this stuff, because I think when you acknowledge it or talk about it or share these stories, that it's almost like you awaken something, or it realizes it, like shit starts happening. And I get like real like scared, because I don't really, I want to know, but I don't. And I on purpose don't watch horror movies. Like, no, thank you. Especially like demon related or anything like possessed or hell no. Like, I am all set with that. Like, so creepy. But I have, as a teenager, you have a Ouija board, and I remember playing like light as a feather, stiff as a board. I don't know if you even know what that is. And kind of all that stuff.
The craft.
But the craft kind of stuff. But I swear we lived in this house when I was growing up that was, I don't think you can call it haunted, because nothing like awful ever happened, but it was definitely like stuff. Someone lived there. He or she still was just hanging out, and like weird stuff would happen. Like lights would flicker or something would be moved, and you just be like, I know that wasn't there. Like just random weird stuff. Like they just messed with us. I don't know that anything evil ever happened. I do remember one night waking up and feeling completely paralyzed. Like I'm awake, but my body won't move. And I'm aware of that. And that's freaky. And like the whole right side of my body's cold, almost as if there was like a presence like there. And it was scary. Like I was just like, and I remember just being like, oh God, don't let me die. like, I don't know what this is. Like, please just go
Mhm.
away. And like, I don't know, I willed myself back to sleep somehow, but that was pretty scary. Like, that was so, yeah, I think there's all these things that happen. Like,
Yeah.
I can't explain them, but it makes me think that there's definitely stuff out there that's out of this universe or dimension or where I don't know even what you want to call it. It's like just unworldly. Is that the right term?
I
Like,
think you hit on something where it's like once you open that can of worms and you get receptive to it, that you might start
yeah,
experiencing it more. But
yeah,
I guess it's kind of like a radio. Like you're definitely not going to hear any music if you don't turn it on.
right,
But if you turn it
right.
on and you're not tuned into a station, you still might not hear anything. But as you flip through, all of a
Yeah.
sudden
It's like a
you're getting
frequency, right?
you're getting farted on by a guy at TJ Maxx or seeing a ghost. I mean, I'm sorry. But there's
Yeah,
something to that. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
the other
There's
trend I notice
definitely.
is places seem to be consistently repeating
Mm,
this sort of thing.
mm-hmm.
Like the house that
Yeah.
I grew up in where my niece had that experience and the dog and all that. My grandmother used to tell us the house was haunted all the time. Like she had it built back in the 60s and she's like, yeah, after I moved out, some guy died in that house and he's still in there.
Mm.
His name was
Oh my
Catfish
God.
and he was a
Catfish
policeman.
Cooley?
He was a policeman. He used to beat his wife and then he died. So old Catfish is in that
Oh,
house. That's haunted. And I was like, okay, I don't, whatever. But
yeah.
then
Yeah.
I forgot all about the story. And like years later, after we didn't even live there anymore, my parents were like, oh, it was haunted by Catfish. And I'm like, coming from my parents, I'm like, what? You're like grown ass people. What are you talking about? They said they
Yeah.
were laying in bed one night at the house when I was
Oh
a kid.
God.
And my mom like woke up, like something stirred her awake. And she looked over and in the doorway of the bedroom was
Oh my
a
God.
man. A man in like a uniform. She said she couldn't tell like what kind or
Oh
whatever.
my
There was
God.
a grown man in the doorway. Like she thought someone broke in the house. So she grabs my
Oh,
dad and wakes him up out of the
I got
fucking sleep.
goosies.
And he jumps out of his skin and he said, I look over and there's a guy in the doorway. So they both see it. He charges towards the guy. Like, I guess he's going to attack the guy and try and protect the house or whatever. And he said, as he got to it, the fucking thing just vanished. Like it was never there.
Oh,
It could have been that he
oh
charged him in
my
his tighty whities and tube
God.
socks. I don't know. I might have ran away too. I mean, even though you're a cop and a
He
ghost,
was like,
you
I'm
might not want to
out.
deal
I'm
with that
out.
shit. Like, you know,
No.
but they were like,
Oh my
they
God.
weren't around.
Ugh.
They were like, no, there was a fucking ghost. And I guess they never told us as
Yeah.
kids because they didn't want to
Well,
make
yeah,
us never
because you
sleep
guys be
again.
freaked out.
We have
Yeah.
to burn the house down. We have to leave. We can't live
Yeah.
here anymore. But so there's like
Yeah.
repeat
Ugh.
stuff at that place. And other
Yep.
people that I've talked to where they've said
Same.
like, oh, my house, there was always curtains or opening and,
Yeah.
and
Weird
hangers
stuff.
flying out of the
Yeah.
closet and goofy shit, but
So
always in
weird.
similar
Yeah.
locations, which I
Yeah.
don't know what that is.
I remember I was at the house, same haunted house, and I'm like looking around for my shoes and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and I'm getting so frustrated. And I'm with my sister, Trish, at the time, and I'm like, oh my God, like, where are my shoes? And all of a sudden, this shoe comes tumbling down the step, just like perfectly like someone tossed it and lands at the bottom. And I was like, we just stared at each other. We're like, let's get the out of here. We're done. Like, and we left. I didn't go back in there until my parents got home. I was like, no. But like, there is definitely something there, something creepy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Mean, I recently, I don't ever have these experiences because I'm not nuts, but
Because you're not a female.
I'm
You
not a
just
white woman.
said that you did
No.
with
I said
Landon.
my son talked about an
Yeah,
imaginary
but you
friend,
there,
which could have been
and
a
it was
lot of
for
coincidence.
legit.
My wife could have prepped him like to with me. I'm a conspiracy
No,
theorist. I could put on my tinfoil hat and explain away the
you don't
child.
believe anything.
I haven't
Yeah.
experienced it, right? But like, the closest thing ghostly I could probably try to relate to that is probably the last month. I was granted up on TikTok probably till 1 a.m. So definitely
Burning your
up way late,
brain.
burning my brain out,
Yeah.
looking at all kinds of
Yep.
crazy stuff about, how many shooters actually were there when Trump got shot and just
All the stuff.
going down a whole CIA rabbit hole of, everyone's trying to murder you and everything's fucked up.
Right.
And then I went to sleep and I was probably asleep for like 40 minutes. And
Okay.
I don't remember this part of it, but my wife has a dream that was some bizarre dream. She doesn't remember what it was, but it was so disturbing that it was like one of those dreams that wakes you up and you're like, you got to get your head right. Like, I got to take a second,
Yeah.
collect myself before I go back to bed. So she woke up from this dream. She said she never got out of bed. She wasn't moving. She just was laying there, just collecting herself, maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And she said, out of nowhere, I just like exploded out of my body and was screaming like somebody was trying to kill me. She's like, you were screaming like a child that was terrified, like a bear was eating them. She's like, it was, she's like, I was like, she's like, I was embarrassed that you were being such a like a pussy, the way you were acting in your sleep.
In your sleep,
yeah. I was like punching and kicking at something that was like above me and screaming.
Ooh.
And she thought for a second, like, oh, it's gonna pass, or whatever. And it didn't. I kept like, I was stuck in this moment, and she grabs me and shakes me awake, and I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? And in that moment, I remembered, I'm like, I thought I woke up and I was awake in my room. And when I opened my eyes, there was this like figure being at the foot of my bed. It was super tall. It had these long, scrawny arms, long fingers, and it was all white and kind of glowing a little bit.
So
and
it
was
wasn't
wearing
a ghost, it was an alien.
I don't know. Alien, demon-ish looking. It was wearing like white robes with a hood, and it was all kind of got this glow to it, but it was so tall that it couldn't stand up. It was hunched over at the ceiling. Its shoulders were up against the ceiling, and it was reaching down from my legs like it was trying to drag me out of the bed. And so when I woke up, I thought, oh, this is real. Like something's trying to drag me out of the bed. What the fuck? And I went into like a full, genuine like fear. Like I haven't felt fear like that since I don't even know. Like I was a child maybe. And I thought I was awake. And then when she shook me awake, I snapped out of it. And I was like, oh, what the
God, yeah.
I was gonna say the best I can try to like piece it together, because I'm not a ghost whisperer. You know, Bruce Willis doesn't tell me secrets before I go to sleep.
You don't see dead people.
I don't think that's the way it works.
How do you know for sure?
Yeah. No, so I'm like trying to piece it together. In the past, I don't know, 2 months prior to that, there was 2 separate instances where my 2 older kids had snuck in my room quietly in the middle of the night, like creeps. And like, so when my older son did it, he had some kind of bad dream. He couldn't fall back asleep. He was all upset, and he's like heavy breathing and half crying. And he comes in the room, and instead of saying anything, and he doesn't go up to
he just stands
mom. Like you're supposed to go to mom for stuff. You know, wake up dad.
Stop it.
Bed. Why would you?
Oh my God.
You call dad when you're at the police station, when you need money, when something really bad happened, like you crashed the car, you call dad.
If it was a monster, you want dad to have your back. If he had a monster in his room.
Well, he went about it all wrong. So he comes in the room and he gets up like knees to the mattress right over my sleeping head, and he doesn't say anything. He's just standing there in pitch black darkness, just going, he's just like moaning, crying.
Oh, no.
And I'm dead asleep. And I'm just like, what the is this noise? And I woke up, I was like, what the are you doing? And he's like, oh, like I scared him. And now he's crying again. And I'm like, what is happening?
Because you scared. Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
oh my God.
Come in the room and say, dad, mom, don't creep up and like moan, whisper, cry in my ear.
Yeah.
Get, like,
oh my God.
In the face. And so not even a month after that,
you had a dream sort of similar.
No, I had another kid
episode.
Torture me in my sleep.
Oh, geez. Okay.
My teenage daughter, who's had her phone confiscated because that's the only thing you can do to actually punish a teenager.
Right.
It's, she had her phone taken away, whatever. It's bedtime. We're all asleep. It's like 3 a.m. I don't know. And I'm laying in bed asleep, and I just hear like just a little noise. And it's enough that it made me open my eyes. Made you awake. And I scanned the room, nothing in the room, pitch black. Okay, go back to sleep. Just a voice in my head said, no, you heard a noise. Just look one more time. Just be sure. And I look one more time, and there's a grown person crawling on their hands and knees from the foot of my bed towards me. And again, I'm like, what the fuck? Jump out of bed. I'm like ready to fight. That? Whatever this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to kick and scream like a girl, according to my wife, and like a bear is eating a child. She's going to be embarrassed for me again. But I'm like, what the fuck? And it's my teenage daughter, and she's crawling through the room, and she's good. she is a manipulator.
She's
She
sneaky.
knew right
Yeah.
away. She was like, I'm so sorry, Dad. I was so sad and I just had to come up here and talk to you. And I'm like, I bought it because
Sure.
I'm stupid, right? And I'm like, I'm giving
Yeah.
her a hug. I'm like, don't creep up on me. It's like, you need to get in bed, stay off your TV. It's too late. You know, dad.
Right.
And
Right.
and she's like, okay, I will. Do we have melatonin? And I know, like, yeah, it's in the cabinet.
my
Go
God.
take it. Go right to sleep. You know. And she leaves. And I'm laying there and I'm like, something's wrong with this. So I said, check your phone, see what time it is. I go to check my phone. I have two phones, corporate work phone, my phone. My phone, I check, see what time it is. I put it down. And I would never check the other phone, but something just said, check the other phone. Phone's not there. I'm like, that's what she's doing. She came in here and stole my phone because she had her phone restricted. And I go downstairs, blaze of glory. Where the fuck is my phone? And I get the phone or whatever. A couple of weeks go by and I'm telling the story and I'm like, she thought she was slick, but the charging cable, you know, popped out of the phone when she was crawling away and it hit the floor. And that's what woke me up.
That was the noise you heard.
But she goes, no, you didn't, Dad. She goes, you caught me when I was bringing the phone back. I'm like, this is, so she'd already had it, did what she wanted. And I just caught her on the way back. So those two experiences plus,
but that like implanted
shot, conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For sure.
But so this demon thing wakes me up and tries to drag me out of the bed and like abduct me. I don't know, it's to probe me. I don't know what his goal was. It didn't get me. You know, it tried, but I fought it off and I woke up. Big ups to my wife who, saved me. But it was bizarre as like, what were the chances that I was going to have some maniacal demon dream that I'd never had an experience like that. What were the chances that would happen? And 2 minutes prior to that, my wife would have such a bizarre dream that she can't even remember, but it woke her up and left her disturbed enough that she was just laying there for the moment that I was going to burst out of my sleep with some crazy dream.
Right.
Like what kind of energy was going through that room that dial, like maybe the radio, the frequency you're tuned into,
something
that's a thing. And maybe there was a frequency being played in that room. And beyond
maybe
all
that's
that,
how they like,
the dog never moved. The dog, like if something stirs, whatever, he's up, he wants to see what's going on. He didn't even wake up. So I'm like, there was some kind of
he wasn't
alien
even tuned
demon
into that frequency
vibe. Wasn't tuned in. Tried to drag me out of bed and I don't know, finger me on a spaceship. I don't know what it was trying to do.
Oh my God. Anal probe you.
I don't know what I was trying to
Study
do.
you.
But the dog didn't even care. He's like, yeah, take him.
Oh my God.
Weird energy, man.
That's weird. Yeah. And maybe that's like how they communicate is through dreams and like that's how they
I thought you were gonna say
I don't know. But
holes. I thought you were going back to probing and holes. That's how they communicate.
Maybe that's how through holes. I don't know. But
so I went and
I don't
Googled
know. There's definitely
sleep
other
paralysis. You ever a sleep paralysis demon? Like you talked about being paralyzed.
Isn't that
in your sleep.
what I just said happened to me? Kind of.
So I'm like, okay, that is a thing. People talk about they wake up, there's like a demon, like a man in a hat at the foot of their bed and they can't move and they're frozen.
I felt something though.
People say that. People say they see certain visions. People say they see a man in a hat, a dark man, whatever. So I Google sleep paralysis demon. Like the first 3 pictures I see are almost exactly what I saw. Tall, white, hunched over, robes. I'm like, what the is this?
You were gonna be abducted. You were on.
It could be the algorithm. Google probably knows so much about what I have going on in my head that it's just,
oh my
God,
it's starting to like implant
things.
The
government. The government was like, he got too close to the Trump investigation with his TikTok stuff. He might be figuring it out. Let's f him up. Let's put something in his head while he sleeps.
Oh my God.
Make his wife not respect him anymore because of the way he reacted. And it'll just, we'll f him up at home. And,
Oh my God. Maybe you're right. Or you had a one-way ticket to Holeville and the Milky Way. I don't know, but like
last call for tickets to Holeville.
It could have been what was going on. Like, I don't know. I believe that there's something else in, some other energy, some other things. There's too many unexplainable things. And the other thing is when people say they've seen UFOs, it's sort of like always the same description. Like there's always like a big flash of light. There's always like, there's just so many commonalities and you're like, how can that many people claim that they've seen something and it not be true. I don't know. I just
Is
think
that
there's
like
something to
pop
that.
culture though? Like people have spent so much time watching movies, hearing about little green men, the
I don't know,
Greys,
maybe, but like when they say that
saucers.
they, when they recall the moment they saw something, a lot of
Mhm.
it is there's just similarities there. So I don't know if they're like making it up because of their imaginations filling in some gaps from movies they've seen and other stuff, or if like they've
Mhm.
literally just witnessed this thing and that's how they recount it. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Heard a
It's
story about a guy
crazy.
who was asleep in his bed and he had like a smartwatch on. And it was one of these like Garmin, I go hiking
Yeah, I
watches
have one.
where it has like
Yeah.
an altimeter where it tells you how
Yep.
much above sea level you are. So he went to sleep. He had this wild ass dream where he felt like he was being taken from his bedroom and all this like terrifying
Oh,
stuff. I'm probably butchering the details a little bit, but he
okay.
wakes up, he's all disturbed. He's like, had a horrible night's sleep. He had this terrible dream about being taken from his bed and flying
Yeah.
through the air and all this crazy stuff. And later in the day, he's looking at his, I guess like people have like Whoop or like your watch tracks your heart rate and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
for like 40 minutes while he was in a dead sleep, his heart rate was like through the roof for 40 minutes. He's like, that's weird. He goes, I did sleep like shit last night. Why would my heart rate
Yeah.
be like that though? Like that's like really high. It's like
Yeah. It's
dangerously high, whatever
weird.
that was. And then I guess he had some function in the watch for height above sea level. And for the same 40 minutes that his heart was like beating out of his chest, according to the heart rate monitor, the altimeter showed him at 60,000 feet above sea level for the same period of
Stop
time.
it.
For the same period of time. And his dream
Ew.
was he was taken from his bed, like abducted, and was flying through the air. And the
Oh
watch
my
shows him
God.
60,000 feet up, and the heart rate monitor's off the
Ugh.
charts. And they've nestled him back in his bed after they
I'd be going to
fingered
the
him.
doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be going. I'd be going to the doctor, being like, "Give me a full checkout, doc," because oh my God, that's creepy.
I mean, you've never seen like
Yeah, all these creepy things.
you've never seen like anything in the sky that freaked you out, or
Nothing like
you're
that.
just like
No,
ghostly white women stuff.
just ghost white women stuff, just the cardinals and all that. I do have one other kooky story, kind of two in one. So I was, at a happy hour with some friends, and I have a buddy who believes very strongly in this kind of stuff too. And so I'm telling him about this time that I was a young girl and I'm out in the backyard playing with my sister. And this guy, this old guy, it wasn't the same guy that crop dusted me, it was a different one. This old
I
guy
wasn't
comes
even
up
gonna bring
and
it back up. I was gonna let it go.
he comes up and he points to my bedroom window and he goes, "Is that your house?" And I go, "Yeah, that's our house." And he goes, "Is that your room?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my room." And he's like, "Yeah, somebody hung themselves in that bedroom. They died in there." And I was like, and I'm a kid. I'm like maybe 9 years old. And I turned to look at my sister, and when I turned back, this guy is gone. He vanished, like nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, am I crazy? Like, and I'm looking at my sister and she's like, "No, I definitely saw that." So I'm telling my buddy about this, and he goes, "Yeah, that was probably like a spirit or a demon or something that like summoned itself up to
Old
talk
man
to you for whatever
catfish.
reason." Yeah, old man catfish. And he was like, "The way you can tell though that it's not an actual person," he said, "the spirits or demons, I don't know which one he was talking about. So I'm messing that part up, but he said there's always some sort of like intense deformity." And I'm like thinking, and I'm like, I can't think of anything. So I call my sister and I put her on speaker, and I'm like, "Trish, remember that creepy guy that we saw in the backyard?" She goes, "Oh yeah, the one that told us somebody died." I'm like, "That one. Was there anything weird about him?" She goes, "Oh yeah, his hand was like really, really messed up. Like he almost didn't have a hand." And my friend's like, he just was like, oh my God. Like he's like freaking out and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe it was a spirit or a demon or something. But again, like the more you open yourself up to it, I feel like the more that stuff floods in. And I
Mhm.
don't know. I think you have to draw the line somewhere and just be like, I think I'm done playing with this. Like, I just don't understand it. But curiosity sort of gets you. So you're kind of like, I want to know, but I don't want to die and I don't want to be possessed. So I think I'm just gonna, leave it alone. Even having this conversation, I feel very uneasy. Like, am I gonna see something later? Like, I'm like
Probably
free.
will.
Like, yeah, like is Beetlejuice gonna pop up? Like, I don't know what's gonna
It's
happen.
Beetlejuice.
Like,
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
don't say it. Oh, don't, Sean. You literally scared me for a second. Like I
Forgot he was there.
I'm like, Steve.
Forgot I was
forgot
here,
he was
huh?
there.
I'm
I
just back
peed my
here
pants a
switching
little bit.
cameras.
Holy shit.
Nah, I was
Yeah,
listening to you guys. Yeah, it was good stories. Good stories, y'all. Good stories.
Creepy. What about
Yeah.
you, Sean? Have you ever had something weird
Oh yeah, plenty.
happen
But
to you?
we can save
Plenty
that
of
for
weird
another
shit.
episode. We're gonna
It
say
wasn't,
that.
it wasn't paranormal at all.
No,
No.
it
It
was
was in college, and we were.
it was no, it was very paranormal. It was very paranormal.
Oh God.
But we'll have to say we could do like a Halloween episode. We could talk about all
Save
that
it.
stuff.
Yeah, we'll have more
Um,
stories.
So you could crippled creek, crooked hand ghost.
Yeah.
who's
Yeah, he was
telling you
like
he died.
telling us
he
about
died
this.
in your bedroom.
Somebody died in my room, yeah, and it was just creepy. And then like not long after is when I had that moment where I couldn't wake up, and there was like literally felt like there was like a ghost in bed like next to me, and it was just laying there, and I was like, it was creepy. It was really
Petting
bad.
you with
and I
his
couldn't
strong
move, and-
hand, like
Yeah,
just
like with his,
touching you.
take my
with his
good
little chicken
hand.
wing.
Woo, that's heavy. I better use my strong hand.
No.
It
The
was-
only
it
thing I
was
can say that like
weird.
the demon thing, sleep demon thing, I was like, okay, it's dream world. The only thing that I can say I really
Yeah.
experienced that I feel like was a real thing that wasn't like a ghost was I definitely 150% saw a UFO. 100%.
Oh, see
And
my theory: men see UFOs and women see
Yeah,
ghosts. I'm
I think
gonna
so.
stick with it.
I mean,
Mhm.
I was dating this girl. I was probably 15. I was leaving her house. It was, I don't know, 11, 12 o'clock at night. It was late. I don't know. I was out pretty late.
Okay.
Saying goodbye. And she lived across the street from this like warehouse. And while we were saying goodbye, like hugging goodbye or whatever, there was just this loud noise. Like if your mom was ever vacuuming in the living room and there's just like that deafening noise, like you can't hear the TV. It's just that
Yeah.
whirring sound.
Yeah.
And it was so loud. We were both like, the fuck is that noise? That's a bizarre, loud ass noise. And we
Yeah.
both turned and looked behind me. And over this warehouse is this giant white light. It's huge. And it's
See, the
emitting
white
this.
light.
Yeah, it's a big white light and it's
Mhm.
emitting this sound. And the second we looked
Mhm.
at it and registered what the hell we were saying, and we went, what the is that? It flashed, dimmed out, the noise stopped, and you could see as the light dimmed all the metal on this like orb sphere. You could see
Yeah.
like windows, rivets, and around there's a band around the center of it, and there was a red and a green and a blue light that would blink
Yikes.
in sequence, red, green, blue, red, green, blue. And we ran back in the house. Like, this is fucking
Yeah,
terrifying. It's like,
that's
these are
crazy.
aliens. It's got to be
What the
aliens.
hell
What
is
else?
this, right?
What else is this?
What else
And
could
they're
this
up-
be?
They're up there like on some kind of human safari, watching us. Like, watch as the teenagers come out the house too late and they start kissing in the yard, and they're going through this, whatever they're doing. And we're like two panicky gazelle. We ran back in the house and we're looking out the window because a curtain can protect you from interstellar aliens.
Of course.
And it's the ship is moving behind this tree in a J
Lord.
shape, and it's going up to the top of the tree, and then the whole thing disappears, metal and everything, and then instantly reappears at the bottom of the tree and makes the same J movement again. The whole
What
time it's
the
like red, green,
hell?
blue, red, green, blue. The whole time it's making this movement. So I'm like, I'm not riding on my Huffy with the boombox home while
No.
ET tries to beam me up and put his finger in my cloaca like the crocodile hunter from Mars. It's not happening. So
Oh no.
so I call my mom or I dial my house back then, house phone. And my mom answers. I'm like, you have to come pick me up. There's aliens.
There's
I saw a
aliens.
spaceship. I'm not coming home. I'm not running by you. Come get me.
Yeah.
She had always alleged she saw something when she was younger, like in the sky above her house, and nobody would believe her. So I was like, nobody believed you. You have to believe me. So she came and picked me
Yeah.
up. But
Oh, good.
to this day, and that was,
Whew.
I mean, 20-ish years ago, whatever, you could go find that former girlfriend and ask her about that story, and she will
And
verbatim
she will
tell you
validate it.
the exact
Yeah.
same story.
The
So
same. Okay.
what are they trying to do?
Wow.
Are they mean? Are
I
they
don't
like
know.
evil? Are they trying to
Mean,
come
nice.
chop us up, dissect us,
Who
do
knows?
dirty shit?
Did
Is
they
it like
make a wrong left turn? Like, is it on accident?
is
I
it
don't
an
know.
alien
It could
college
be.
prank? Like we're gonna get them?
Dare
I
you
don't
to go
know.
to Earth?
I mean,
You
I
know,
don't know that we
maybe.
need them here. I think it'd be cool if they came and they were cool, but the chances that they'd come and be cool would be like, when people move into the jungle,
Yeah, I
they
don't
cut down
think
all the
we.
trees, they kill all the animals, they
Right.
build
It's
townhouses.
like Fern
It,
Gully, if you've ever seen that. That's
it's not
such
cool.
a throwback. No, but
If
like
they're anything
Fern
like us, they're
Gully, the
not going to
movie.
be cool. They're going to be a problem. So
No,
they're the
we don't
problem.
want that.
So how do we
They are the problem.
make that not happen?
I think you just send them to TJ Maxx. And you
If we
have
can find this
them.
guy, do you think he lives in TJ Maxx? Like, does he live in the back? Like, is he?
I think he's still in the bathroom trying to sew his pants.
So if we
I
can
don't
get this
know.
guy,
Maybe.
I think we set a trap. We get this guy, we drag him into like a cornfield, and we tie him down as bait. They'll come because they can't not. They'll see like
Right.
a ready because his is active, right? They're gonna be like, oh, we want that one. Whatever, that's what they're into.
He couldn't have held that in if he wanted to. Like that was like
he ain't gonna have a
freak.
choice on the spaceship. When he gets on the spaceship, they're gonna start doing what they do. And I
Oh my
think
God.
the second they probe him, they're gonna be like, what the is that smell? And they're gonna drop his right back down, and they're never gonna come back. If his fart was so bad it haunted you for like a week, these aliens, they're gonna be like, we're out of here. This is some
They're
dirty
trouble,
shit down there.
They're
I'm
like,
out.
humans are disgusting. I'm never coming back. We're done. Peace out. That's how you save the world. You
I think
save
so.
it with TJ Maxx, Fart Man. Yes,
Yeah.
completely.
They'll be like that little
That's it.
girl that thought they were gonna pet a cat and it was a skunk and it sprayed them. And now they'll never
Exactly,
pet a
yes.
cat again because they know they ain't gonna come back for me. They've been trying to get me. They sent that guy in my dream in a spaceship when I was a teenager.
They did. You better pay attention because I'm telling you, we just gave it a bunch of energy. So watch out. Like,
All right,
I don't
we're
want to
going
talk
to
about
TJ
it
Maxx
anymore.
together. That's our next
Not
stop.
We're gonna go look for this guy. That sounds good. But all right,
I think that's a
on
good
that
place to
note,
wrap it up.
that is a perfect way to wrap it up. So again, thank you so much if you're listening this long and sticking with us, especially through this ridiculous topic tonight. Yeah, thanks a lot for listening. We do have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook, a whatever, all the social channels. So please give us a like, subscribe, follow us around, and you will know when the next episode's going to drop. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Peace.